profitably navigating the markets is all about constantly gaining and then keeping that perspective. So I'm going to keep it really to the point in this video. I want to show you an example of Amazon.com and how much lower I think the stock could go. Partially because I think a lot of people are still very much exposed to this stock, overly so, but really also through the lens of education so you can see what an approach looks like. So let's have a look at this chart. And if I were to show you this chart, which I am, you look at Amazon right now and you say, okay, well, yeah, it's kind of down. It looks to have had an ugly day just recently right here. And, now so what? And some might even say, the stock's oversold. And maybe for the very, very near term, that might be the case. Now, the magic in all this and the importance of gaining perspective really doesn't come through until we start using different time frames. I'm going to make this from a daily chart. I'm going to turn this into a weekly chart. So up here, I'm going to click on a 1 week time frame, meaning each bar now becomes 1 week of price action. And if I zoom the chart out a little bit more, what you'll start to see is a pattern. And this is the longer term pattern indeed that Amazon.com has been trading in. And you can see for the most part, the upper end of the ranges have held, as have the lower end of the ranges, here and here and here and here. Obviously, we had a big overshooting move right here, which was the into the summer / autumn period of 2018, which is ultimately where the broader stock market, or the S&P, I should say, actually topped the broader stock market top before. But very interesting, and I think this is what a lot of people don't know, is that if you look at this a little bit closer, you'll see that we once again rejected the very upper end of that very trend just a few weeks ago. Right here. And so in my opinion, and this again, I'm not calling for this to happen over the next 2 days, but ultimately, I think this is a stock that still has plenty of downside. I would not be surprised if the stock gets into the mid to low 1500s before it finds a more lasting bid. Now, again, I'm not saying to short the stock here, but this is interesting to note. Now, if you gain even more perspective, if we want to gain even more perspective, which again I would highly suggest you click on the monthly chart, and now what you see is that as the stock reached the upper end of this trading range, right here, it gave us a nasty outside bearish reversal month. That's this red bar right here, which happened to have been the month of May. So that's the month we just closed out in the calendar. And so from my perspective, at the very least, there's a lot of overhead resistance in this stock right around here, which is around, let's call it, it's a wide range but this is the stock can really move. So let's call it 1900 to maybe, 1970, 1950 maybe, is kind of a lot of overhead resistance with the risk, and I would say decent potential for the stock to dip into the low to mid 1500s before we might be able to gain a more sustainable bid. Now, our market rover, of course, has been warning us about this all along. The stock has been short-term and medium-term bearish now. It remains long-term bullish, but again, that's long-term, so just so you guys know. So again, to sort of sum this up and bring it back home, again, I think trading and investing is all profitably doing this is all about gaining and keeping perspective. And this is the process that I use. We heavily rely on the market rover tool because it embeds this entire process, which took me 21 years of learning and practicing in real, like actually doing, not just practicing, I should say. And so anyway, I hope this is helpful, folks. If you like this, if you enjoyed it, leave a comment down below. Give us a thumbs up like. I'll see you soon.